Today is Wednesday, November 29th, 2023. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor 45 Week 10.
This episode's titled, How Am I the Mobster? Spoken by Jake. And what are you chuckling about?
I was looking at the roster and
You missed
totally
your cue.
spaced that we were recording.
Missed your cue.
Well, you didn't give me a headset, so you had to cue me in, and you weren't cueing me in.
This is how we always do it. I held my hand up the way I always do to give you the cue.
I couldn't see it. I was looking over at the roster.
Exactly.
So you gotta do better.
Oh, somehow it's me. Okay, I'll work on it.
But that's why I was giggling at
Previously on Survivor, Jake is the target. The target is Jake. Austin loans an idol to Julie so she can feel safe. Bruce wins his second immunity idol. Julie wants Jake to go, but Dee wants Kendra, and Kendra's voted out. Probst talked a little bit in his last podcast about how they're choosing to do this now, and he really likes the new format. I kind of miss the one where he's reframing it by explaining it as they go, because I thought that gave us insight into how they were seeing what was going down versus how we might see what was going down from the edit.
Even though you complained because he was rewriting history,
Well,
in your opinion.
It is. I don't know that I was complaining, but I thought that there was information available in seeing how he saw it, where it might be different. And sometimes they would show things that we hadn't seen previously. I don't know that that's happening as much with this new one.
The good thing for him is people can't criticize him because he's not saying anything.
He got out of the way. Yeah. There might be a key learning there.
Yeah.
Let the players play, get out of the way.
Recap. Yep.
That's a T-shirt. Yeah, we're going to have to start selling merch for some of these T-shirts.
Yeah.
After Tribal Council is night 17, and they're celebrating top 8, baby, top 8. I heard someone say she had no clue in reference to Kendra. That's not true, according to her exit interviews. She said she did know that something was up. And so Jake tells us that he is still alive and he has friends. I wasn't sure where that was coming from.
Really?
Yeah.
Who are they?
We hadn't gotten that part yet, have we? Drew describes Jake as like Charlie Brown with a storm cloud following him around.
Well, I think one of the people he was talking about was Drew, and maybe even Austin. Oh, no, they like me. They're protecting me.
Yeah.
They didn't vote me. They voted Kendra.
Well, and if you got someone like that you're just sort of kicking towards the goal, kicking them around, and you let them think they're at risk, and then they're not, and you're thinking, this guy's going to make an awesome goat at a tribal council, you want him to think he has friends. You want him to think people are pulling for him.
But I think reality was setting in a little more this week. So
Drew tells us that Bruce has power because he keeps winning immunity, and that needs to stop ASAP. They are looking forward to getting rid of Bruce. The Easter egg in the intro this week was the Lulu hidden immunity idol.
That's what made me think. They actually, about 5 hours before the show,
Who's they?
Survivor posted on Facebook the video, the intro.
Little Easter egg clip or something like that?
Yeah, and so I had seen that, and I thought, I called you in, and I said, are they showing, I think this is what they're going to show tonight. Is this Bruce's idol? And then I was like, oh, yeah, they're probably going to play that. He's probably going to play it. Because I had assumed that when I made my picks, that Bruce, of course, would be one of my safe picks because, you know, he had an idol.
Cut to the next morning, day 18, and Dee tells us that she slept like a baby. But we learned it wasn't so good for Julie.
Yeah, Julie didn't.
She was in need of a neck rub, which Austin volunteered. And she tells us that she did not sleep. It's the lies that she's been telling are weighing on her.
To their faces. Both Kelly and Kendra. It's weighing her down.
That's the tough thing if you play for the mom archetype. In any archetype where it's about trust and then the betrayal hits harder. It
does.
It just comes, it hurts you in the long run, for sure.
The more you trust someone, the more you feel deeply.
It's part of the reason Bruce was fighting so hard not to be seen as the dad initially. He was going out of his way for that. Now, Julie, she embraced it. But, yeah, those hens are coming home to roost on her now, and it's weighing on her.
Well, I don't know if they liked the drunk uncle any better than they would have.
Well, that's because his execution was so
over
lacking.
The top with that,
I want to know what you thought about that moment with Drew and Julie, where Drew offered comfort. They're talking down on the beach, and she shares with him first about how it's all weighing on her, the lying and the breaking of trust, and he comforted her, and then he had a somewhat similar moment, saying he focused more on the four of them, not on people that already knocked out the way Julie was. His was on,
that no matter what happened, that could well have been him feeling like, oh, goodness, and I'm lying to her because I'm going to vote her out before we get there. And it overwhelmed him for a moment, because I do think they care about each other, but it's still $1 million. So sorry.
So my question though was, did you think it was sincere?
Genuine. Yeah. I did. Yes. I know you didn't.
I didn't. I'm not even sure I bought her completely, but since we had the prior setup for her where, it had been weighing on her and it affected her sleep and all that, maybe a little more.
And you said there was no tears.
Neither one of them was truly crying from what we got to see. And so
Drew was rubbing his eyes with his shirt.
Yeah, that must be because he was crying. I would not put it past him for that to have been some manipulation.
I didn't think it was.
There was some premeditation at work. Maybe even on both their parts. The best lies are founded in some truth, so.
That's true.
At least that's what they say. I wouldn't know anything about that.
I thought it was a genuine emotional moment.
Okay. All right. That's what I was looking for. What was your take on it? I saw it a different way. Yep, definitely. Emotional test happens when you have such a strong alliance, and it's an alliance that's been there from so early in the game. So we see Bruce, Emily, and Katurah talking, and they're focused on the Reba 4 and saying, hey, that 4 scares me. And Bruce asks Emily, well, who is it that's making the decisions for them? But Emily dodged it. She didn't, at least from we got to see.
A whole lot of information.
She didn't give anything.
Them. Yeah, no, she wasn't in that. But I really thought going into tonight that Emily was smart enough that she really was going to come to the conclusion that she had to make a move, a big move.
I'm kicking myself. After that listener feedback show, and I kept thinking about all the different angles and the different possibilities, I came into this episode with my expectations too high. I set myself up for disappointment. We were just winding each other up earlier, weren't we?
I don't think I felt as disappointed as you did, but we were like, and you're like, no, this is going to be Dee. And I'm like, no, I think it's between Julie or Drew. And, because, I thought Emily would 100% go after Dee. But see, in my story, Dee had won immunity. Mm-hmm. Dee was going to win this immunity. She was totally going to win it. She went
big toe energy.
She won hanging off the pole, and she going to win hanging down this little thing. I just knew it.
Coming back to Bruce, Emily, and Katurah having that discussion, Katurah was encouraging them, saying they got to stick together when I think they know Katurah has gone rogue on them, that she's bailed on them multiple times at this point. Maybe they don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. You got to twist and turn and adapt with everything.
Well,
so.
I really liked what Emily said is,
Yes.
if I'm going to make a big move, I really need support. But these three can't even work together.
Right.
Which is true, even though they were trying. And I thought maybe they could if they knew it was either them.
I got to say, I was most impressed because I was expecting something big from Emily. I thought she was going to take charge. She was going to be the creative one. And it turned out it was Bruce. Knocked me over with a feather.
Coming up with the story that he had given his idol to Kelly.
Yeah, which was based in some truth. She had breached that idea with him. We learned in the exit interviews that she had brought up the knowledge is power thing in hopes of maybe knocking it loose and then not giving it back. So he tells it to Katurah, and I thought Katurah bought it. I mean, she says she didn't, but I thought, well, she did a good job fooling him.
Yeah. Well,
because he tested it with her, and then he shared it with her. Out of all he's not good at reading people. He does have awareness, but he just does.
He can read certain things really
could,
well if he's silently observing.
To think he could trust Katurah at this point, but we're obviously given more than they are in some instances, and of course a lot more happens we never see. We know all that, but to go ahead, I would have thought he would manage Katurah the same way he would have managed Jake. Because when he shared it with Jake, he didn't let Jake know that it was a lie the way he immediately let Katurah know.
True, but if he was really going to try to pull off that kind of lie, why would he tell anybody the truth?
Yeah, that's my point. That he shouldn't have turned around and told Katurah that he was
anybody the truth.
He was testing the hook. Which is basically what he did.
Well,
he goes, "Did you believe me? Was I believable?" Because he's testing his hook. That's the big way he thinks he's going to sucker him in.
He gave it up. He might as well have just hung it out to dry, but right then.
Yeah.
Because by then it was like,
people are complicated, aren't they? They don't always act in their best interest or the way that we think they should.
Well, we only get certain parts of it too, but he was so sure that Jake would run and tell the four, and it was actually Katurah that told the three women. So, I mean, yeah, Jake did eventually tell, but she told first.
He was right. He just wasn't right about everybody, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't know that Katurah had been sharing information. I guess not. Okay, on to the reward challenge. So 2-day cycle, day 18 and day 19 for this episode. There's a set of obstacles they got to go over 2 and under 1. And then they got to untie some knots to get a bag with some balls in it. And then they've got a really long net, those heavy, really super scratchy nets. And so they do that, and then they come to one of those tiltable mazes that they've got to navigate the ball through.
That one seemed to have more holes in it, didn't it? No?
No, not that I was aware of.
It seemed to have a lot of holes in it.
Pretty big reward. It's a full dinner at the sanctuary with wine, with soda, if that's what you want. And you get to spend the night with pillows, with blankets. So comfort.
Where did we see
food.
The picture of the turkey?
It's in one of the commercials.
Because there was just a turkey in the commercial. And I said, oh my goodness, that's huge. That's a turkey. And you said, oh, that's the chicken they got last week. And I said, that is not the chicken they got last week. It was nowhere near that. You're like, oh, yes, it was. That was the chicken. But it wasn't. It was this turkey.
And you were right.
And I was right, yes.
Yay! What's important?
That was important.
Okay, so they're all pretty close, going over and under the obstacles, and they all they get through the net okay. Although, who was it? Emily? Who was at the end? Katurah, Julie? Somebody was at the end. I can't remember.
The end of what?
Getting through the net. They were having a lot of trouble.
Julie was back there. I don't know if she was the last one. But
Jake
they first came out, Austin, Jake, Dee, and Bruce, and then the others.
Jake had no fine motor control when it came to tilting that maze. It was all jerky. Did you see him?
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't get the hang of it at all.
I think a lot of times the adrenaline kicks in, and
That's true.
They can't. They do get shaky, and
you lose fine motor control the more
Yes,
adrenaline is
yes,
pumping
you
through
do.
you. So
And I think that's
maybe
probably,
that's it. Yeah.
what was going on.
Although
with it.
other people got it in no time.
Well, and the other thing could be that they're just flat weak.
Were you
And then
excited?
they do a
or
challenge like that.
surprised? I was really surprised
That Emily won.
that it ended up being Austin versus Emily. That it was that
Yes.
close.
Yes, totally.
Because we thought when we saw this, oh, Austin's got a pretty good chance at this.
I never
get through
even
quick.
considered Emily winning.
Didn't think she was in the mix, right?
I thought, see, in my story for this week, Austin or Drew won, and they took, say if Austin won, he took Drew and Dee, or Dee and Julie, and nobody took Emily. Mm-hmm. And that's when she started to go, oh, I'm not in it with.
This would be
they're not favoring
the clear
me.
messaging on the hierarchy.
So it really threw me when Emily won,
Right.
and she didn't take them. It shocked me that she took the women.
I like how it played out too, because Probst caught her reaction, how she was shaking, because it surprised her and she was overwhelmed. And then she shared that the others were telling her, "Hey, we're gonna take you if we win, because you haven't been to the sanctuary yet." And then she was so proud of herself. Those are the really good moments. She was so proud of herself.
She didn't want to be taken. She wanted to take herself.
Got her there on her own, she said.
And I'll take you guys with me. So I was pretty surprised that she chose Mama J first.
I wasn't, because her and Bruce are the ones with kids. So
yeah, but that didn't seem to have anything to do with it, because she didn't take Bruce. She didn't go off of that, who was a parent and who wasn't. And
you're right.
The women.
But it was Julie and missing home and her kids and all that motivated the Julie pick. She just didn't give any consideration for Bruce being a parent. So
nope.
Maybe that's not a big
all.
part
and
of
then
his
shows Katurah. She didn't have kids.
Presentation. No.
And I don't think Dee does either. So no, didn't have anything to do with any of that logic.
Well, she said she was shooting for a ladies' night, and so she ends up, they end up with all of them out there.
I think that made it a lot more painful to know that they were missing letters from home. But I think the guys would get over it quicker than the women.
Yeah. Well, what was Austin's first comment was, "Okay, we're cooking a massive pot of rice. Extra helpings," Jake said.
Yeah, though he did say he was nervous about the girls, because anybody would bond with letters from home.
Yeah, astute observation. So he understood the risk.
But there's nothing he can do about it, so they just decided to have some fun.
Liked how he framed that. He said, "I got to trust that all the work I put in up to this point is going to still be enough."
That he's forged a tight enough alliance.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be the case from everything that we've seen, huh?
All right, now the girls are at the sanctuary, hugs all around, and a turkey dinner.
They held off on the letters and then went right for the food. Julie commented saying it was the greatest moment of the season.
I know they have told them before that they had to eat first and wait for the letters.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they did this time, but I do know that they have told them that before.
What did you think about Katurah's comment to Emily?
Which was?
You underestimate yourself.
Oh, yeah.
She was kind of highlighting her,
I think sometimes she does, and other times maybe
There's
not,
certainly, she's had ample reason to underestimate herself. Yeah. It's been an uphill battle for quite a while for Emily. So.
Well, she was pumping them up pretty good with that. Oh, I believe we will have
female winner, Emily declared. Winner. Great vibes
and I'm
here.
sure I could just hear Dee and Julie going, "Yes, you will."
And Katurah says,
be me.
"Yes, that sounds great, and we got to get Bruce out, because it's really all about revenge for me."
Boy.
I mean, she didn't say the last part out loud, and then Katurah offers up. Bruce lied about the idol.
But they're so single-minded. I just was so certain.
He's instilled
at 8. This is
response.
Where you make the move, and if they're going to split it, it's perfect. Anyway, You can tell I'm a little bit disappointed.
Emily reacted a little when Katurah offered that. I wasn't sure what she was going to do with that, but then she chimed in and said, "Yeah, we got to flush that idol." And Katurah wanted to ensure that when they did do it, that there were more votes on Bruce, even though they were going to have to split.
Yeah, we'll split Bruce and Jake, but let's be sure we put more
on Bruce,
just in case.
So we can make sure he's the one that goes.
So, was it really Katurah's move to put more votes on Bruce?
Yeah, she was calling it right here.
She said it first. Because Emily's going to say it was her move.
So the girls' night is in progress, and the boys' night is kicking off too. What time is it? It's fart and burping time.
Oi, and Drew is posing.
He's flexing.
Oh.
No, that was a flex.
Okay, flex posing.
Well, let's do some manly man stuff. Let's bump fists. Let's bro hug. Let's chop some wood. Let's carry some wood.
Let's go.
Drew tells us that
fish.
he's taking advantage of this opportunity to bro out. Let's talk about food and action movies. That's Drew's idea,
if he's
broing
never
out.
Broed out, how does he know how to bro out?
And the editors they just went for it. Gave us slow-mo on different shots there, and even I think we got a brief freeze frame with Drew flexing.
That's as good as, them tacos. Them tacos sure were
Classic dudes moment. Yes. Okay, time for some spear fishing. It looked like Austin and Jake were going out together, but then it just became the Austin show.
Well, probably Jake didn't catch anything.
He wasn't out there long.
I wouldn't think that, he could get down there. He's not as strong as Austin. And I would think it would be harder. It's harder to dive deep in the water.
I wonder if he's still having trouble with his blood pressure dropping like that. So his blood oxygen ratio may not be that. He may not be able to hold his breath as well.
Yeah.
Well, he intended to go out, and he went out initially, but then it became all about Austin.
Well, and then when you're out there swimming around in the ocean, no less, it's hard if you have asthma or any of that kind of stuff. I know for myself, when that's acting up, it's almost impossible to do those kind of things. You just don't have it.
So we see Bruce and Jake doing some strategizing, and Bruce wants to target D. Smart man.
Yeah.
Jake agrees, but then Jake tells us D's not happening.
I can't say smart man any longer because of what happens after. I didn't call that a smart man, but it was a smart decision to target D. Cause
when you're talking about strategy in this context, I think that would be good. That's who I had as my vote out, so I'm going with smart man, at least for that moment in time.
Oh, so you're really talking about you. Okay, that I get. Okay. Anyway,
Jake tells us, you know what, I got to unhitch from Bruce. This is just, it's too much. So he's a little late to the party on the, I got to dump Bruce.
And he finally tells, which Bruce knew he would eventually, I guess.
He did make another good call there. Smart man, that Bruce. Mm-hmm. Up to a point.
Yep. And then Drew was, I don't know how much I like Drew and his gloating with Jake is our puppy dog right now.
Mm-hmm. Bruce and Jake are drawing dead, Drew tells us.
Yeah, they're kind of leading Jake around by the nose, really. And so I'm not surprised he starts to feel like, I don't know what's happening.
Well, they did seem to believe him, to Jake's credit at this point.
Oh, Drew totally bought it. Yeah.
Drew bought it, and then he shared it with Austin, and they seemed to both believe Jake.
Yep. Well, because he wasn't lying. I mean, it wasn't the truth, but he didn't know it. Yeah. So it's different when you're saying something that you 100% believe is the truth. And so they believed he was telling the truth, I think is most accurate. And he was, as he knew it.
As he knew it, yeah. Okay, bouncing back over to the sanctuary, time for those letters from home. Dee says she's nervous to even read them. We get a moment with Julie, her brother, telling her that, reminding her what a hero she was and how she responded to her divorce and all the things she's accomplished since then, and how she took over as a single mom and pumped her up.
Yeah, that's awesome. And she's, I think, played very well out here.
Dee gets some kisses. Her dad in his letter said he sees himself giving her a kiss every day and hugging her. What did you think about Emily? She might get married, she tells us. That was an interesting arc.
Oh, that's interesting. She says, we've been together for a decade.
Yep. Never saw herself as a wife.
Never saw herself as a wife up until now. Now she could actually see it. I thought, wow, they must not have spent a lot of time apart then. Because I think it does intensify when you're separated.
Oh, yeah.
And
she was missing out on a big life moment. Their first house she was describing. And so he's taking care of all that.
He's doing that without her. It's not something they're sharing. And maybe she misses the sharing that they do. And you know, she's seeing it more clearly from a distance. So I thought it was kind of cool because that's kind of one of those life things.
Katurah got a gut punch. She tells us that she had cut off contact with her mom, but then she got a letter from her mom. And her
she
mom
didn't know
talking
how to
about,
feel about it.
Yeah, how important that family was. So that really rocked her a bit. And Julie comes over to give her some comfort and Julie tells her she's proud of her and how she's managing herself in the game.
Well, she is a mother, so that would come natural to her. But she's also, I think, very mindful of being the game mother.
I really, really liked how Katurah she corralled it. She said, look, I can't go down the sad place. This is not the time for that.
No.
And you have to be super, super on guard when you're in high-stress situations, when things aren't going your way. If you bite into the negative, then you can get caught in a spiral and can't get yourself out.
Okay, I was concerned because if I were out there, I would be so torn. I can't wait to hear what you had to say and how you are and what's happening at home. And yet, on the other hand, it could really pull your focus totally out of the game and make you so homesick.
More times than not, it ends up having a detrimental effect.
Exactly.
Julie said it was fire for her, and fire represents life, but it can spin you around. If you let your emotions get away from you, like I was just saying, if you, in Katurah's case, if you give in to the negativity, it can completely wreck you.
Yeah.
It can be like a trap door. You can fall through and
Julie's
be done.
Kids, though, are older, more independent. She doesn't
They're as old as some of the people out here she's
home.
Playing the game with.
Yeah. And so, and I think she's probably learned how, because her and her daughter were both, going to school at the same time, getting degrees. And so she's used to seeing them as being capable and independent because she probably raised them that way. So she's probably not that she doesn't miss them, but she's not worried about them like you would be maybe if it was a younger child or a pregnant wife or something waiting at home.
Okay, back at camp, the women return. Drew tells us that's nice. It was nice to have them back.
Yep. And he goes right into telling Emily about, we gotta get Bruce out. He doesn't have an idol.
Emily's quick to tell him, nope, that's a lie.
Nope, he's lying.
And so Drew just adapts and pivots and goes, okay, well, Bruce or Jake, we'll split and get one of them.
You think that's what really set Jake off, is that he totally believed Bruce, and then he was just even more confused. He doesn't know what's happening.
Well, that's a big part of it for sure, yeah.
That he totally believed Bruce. And
it's very reminiscent of the Katurah moment when she found out that Bruce actually had an idol and Jake had been working against her to deceive her.
They had all deceived her.
Yeah, but Jake in particular had done an acting job saying that he was looking for a ring, so Bruce had an excuse to dig and find the idol. Yeah, it was very reminiscent of that moment.
Well, and Emily just flat out tells Jake, look, I'm in a good spot where I am, and I don't want to risk it.
Don't want to blow it up.
Nope.
Is really what she said. So, yeah, she seemed to be sincere with Jake in that part.
Well, the thing is that I think that Jake just doesn't trust himself to believe. She may be perfectly sincere, but he doesn't know what to believe because he can't trust himself because he didn't recognize that was a total fabrication from Bruce. He just totally bought it. So then you just don't trust yourself, and that's the biggest issue.
Yep.
Now,
And we see Jake pitching Drew to Julie, and then Julie turns around and tells Drew.
Of course. And he was so indignant.
Yeah, I think he described himself with that very word.
Yes, he did.
Why me? He tells us that he's been putting himself out there on the line for Jake. I don't know that we've seen that.
It was more of a how dare he come after me after I've been the one
all the
saving
things
him.
I've done.
Nobody else wanted to keep you.
I don't think it played out that way from what we saw, but yeah, that's the narrative that he's working on.
It is in his mind. We all have our own stories.
I liked how Drew just laid it right out there when Jake tried to flip it around and say, why me? Because Drew was saying, why me to
why
Jake.
am I the mob?
So Drew said, you have no allies. That was cold but true, and that was it.
His feelings in it.
No. I think that really got him. And so Jake's
Drew
response
wanted him to share.
Jake's response was, our conversation's done. Which Drew didn't like having someone else dictate the terms, especially someone with no allies.
He really didn't.
Yeah, but that's when we got the title.
I wonder if there wasn't a good bit more to that confrontation than we actually got to see. Because you could tell both of them were in a space and not real happy.
Yeah.
With the others.
Yeah, they got pretty fired up.
Yep.
Drew accusing Jake of thinking he's a character in The Departed, and Drew describing Jake as a goon.
Whew, that was a long day. So
still going.
No, day night. We're still on day night.
Yeah, we're just getting warmed up. We got the immunity challenge next.
Going to the immunity challenge now.
Have we seen this in U.S. Survivor before? I didn't remember it.
I don't remember this, no.
I think we've seen it in Australian Survivor kind of recently.
Something similar to that. Yeah. Maybe not exactly, but similar.
So there's a steep ramp, and it's going to drop you in tilted, and you're going to drop off. If you let go, you'll slide down into the water. And there's some handholds to hold on to in the beginning of the challenge.
Yeah, and we did see the picture of the challenge, and you were just sure Dee was going to use those toes.
Yes, big toe energy for the win.
But you didn't think she was going to win, and she was going to get voted off. But I was just certain she was going to win that one. That it's going to be way too heavy, and I thought, they'll get down there, and Drew's long legs will be all the way off. I'd never dreamed Jeff was going to make them straighten their legs.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, wait. Because I was like,
I was having trouble following you.
Short. She'll put her feet way up close to her behind, and she'll be able to stay there. And, Drew's got those long legs. There's no way he could get them up once they get lower down. And,
right. Okay.
Again, my story was inaccurate. But it was a nice challenge. I was really worried about Katurah.
Yeah, she basically had a panic attack.
She did.
Right? She got some of that.
She totally did.
I don't know if it was just the water or it was deep water fear.
Or even a part of it be falling into the water.
Yeah, it does combo up some fears, doesn't it? The way that challenge is designed.
And then you don't know what you're reacting to. You just react. And I thought she did pretty good to get herself off there, actually.
Yes.
I would have been like, Jeff, get over here.
Yeah.
And help me.
I think I felt what she was going through a little bit when I did the bridge climb in Sydney. I've told you about that before, right?
Yes, you relayed it to me because I sure as heck didn't go up there.
Yeah. There's a part. It was the first part where you could see down below where we were climbing up, and you had to go over it was a walkway that you could see through.
It was open.
And I looked, and it was hundreds of feet down to the water, and my body froze, and my mind was still functioning, but I couldn't move.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I bet what I felt was somewhat similar to what she was going through when that panic hit, because there was some solid panic. Fortunately, one of the people who was in charge of us said something and it snapped me out of it. But
yeah, you went on to the top and did that. And I watched you there was a restaurant up at the hotel, and I had binoculars, and I could see you guys for so far, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch you from the hotel, honey.
I couldn't tell you how much time passed when I froze like that, but that panic was
seconds,
that fear,
probably.
Fear of height was
because they weren't going to let you guys being that was not, in my opinion, a not safe
This was still
place to be.
below the actual where the road is. You have to climb up through where the bridge, the road
Yeah.
where the vehicles are. So we were down below that, and you could see through to the water. So I thought, okay, I kind of know what that kind of panic's like. So she was definitely having a moment, and that was it. She was done. And I like that Probst let her off. He could tell us there was something big going on there. So he was trying to encourage her to swim over and challenge her fear,
But he did tell her she could just climb off there because you could tell she was terrified to go in the water for whatever reason. And she's
got away
been
from
in the
her.
water. She swam.
yeah, we've seen her swim. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's done other challenges. She's been in the water.
That might have been, like you said, it could be the falling combined with going into the water where there's still some fear because you haven't done it a whole lot. She said she had prepped for being in the water and learned how to swim and all those things, but
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that go into it, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know why they have a panic attack, but I would think it's not that easy to come out of it. I thought she did great.
yeah, she got
I did.
herself over to the
got
bench.
herself
And
over there.
she was shaking, and Emily helped comfort her a little bit, so that was good.
Like I said, I'd have been like, Jeff, you get over here
Cut
and
back.
grab my arm.
Cut back to the no, he actually told Emily to help her. Cut back to the I like how he told her that there were safety divers there.
Yeah.
Cut
You're
back to the
protected. I'm here. It's like, forgive me if I don't find that comforting right
didn't
now.
work. Yeah.
Nope, didn't work.
Back to the challenge, we see Jake struggling a little bit, so they go 5 minutes in the second hand hold. They move down to the third hand hold. Now Julie's out, and just for another one of those classic. These happen every once in a while where you get one of those Probst is out of touch with the real world kind of moments. He relates this to a fun carnival challenge. He tells us, which. Jake was quick to jump on. It's like, what carnival did you do something like this at?
I have a feeling he might have said a bit more than they showed us, but
Maybe, yeah.
they're comfortable enough with him. I think they might have given him some grief for that. But
So he has them move down the fourth hand hold, and like you said, this was where he told them they had to straighten their legs out, and that was it for D.
After Julie went out, yeah.
Yep, I had said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. missed
So
that.
then we got Drew, Jake, Austin, and Bruce.
I thought, wait a minute, that was not in my story.
What was going on with Katurah talking to Jake? Was that sincere? She called out, "Don't drop Jake." She was encouraging Jake to fight it out. Was that real?
I guess. Why wouldn't it be? She's supposedly trying to work with him.
In any case, Drew ends up dropping next. Now it's Jake versus Austin versus Bruce.
Yeah.
And we see Jake recover a couple times. Actually, see everybody struggling at that point, and then Jake slides out. Now it's down to Austin versus Bruce. Both of them are digging deep like Probst loves.
I was cheering for Bruce.
Yeah? You wanted him
Yes.
to win again?
Well, I had him safe.
Might have
Yes,
biased
I
you
did
a little
for
bit.
this week.
Yeah,
It's all
Okay.
about my point. It had nothing to do with Bruce.
right.
I don't mind Bruce being out.
And then
It's
Bruce
just-
slipped, and Austin won his first individual immunity.
How about that? I really thought Austin wouldn't win because I thought those big old muscles of his would just give out. But it didn't work that way. It has in a lot of challenges where the guys with big muscles just can't hang on to something. But in this case, it seemed to work better for the guys.
Yep. Unfortunately for Bruce, he wasn't able to marshal it.
No, but he
Come
did
up with a
great.
win.
I have
Yeah.
to give him that. He's done really well.
Yeah, his physical game was way better than I expected.
So, what do you think about Katurah?
Probst's pep talk,
Well, that she actually got in the
it
water
did the
and started
job.
swimming.
He convinced her to challenge her fears.
Well,
He
when
gave
they
her a
backed
life
off-
moment.
When they backed off from it, I was like, "Where's the boat? Where's she?
They don't
Where
know-
does she have to
They don't
swim
show
to?"
it. They want you to think,
Where
oh,
is
they're
it?
swimming back to camp. Even though they had been talking about the boat, they didn't show it. Yeah, they showed her.
But at least she
swimming.
did it. So,
Yeah, good for her.
well, I was hoping maybe it would
Beautiful
help
moment.
get her past her panic. That okay, I
guess
can
it
do
did.
I can do it.
Dr. Probst has a success.
I think it was more she just couldn't stand the thought of not doing it and what people would think, and so she just had to make herself do it. But at least she could make herself do it because she couldn't go into the water before. So good on her.
Yeah. Okay, back at camp. Well done. Good job, Austin.
And Austin tells Bruce, you should play your idol.
You're going to have
tonight.
to play that idol. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this sequence before they go to tribal, I'm still wrestling with it. I don't fully see what happens here.
Well, they don't show us everything.
Well, I know that. So we see, okay, continuing, we see Bruce talking to Katurah and Julie and saying it's time to get Jake. And we see Dee saying that they're going to split votes on Bruce and Jake. And then, first surprise, we see Katurah talking to Emily and saying, hey, we've got to target the mom. We've got to target Julie.
That's right. Who's everybody going to vote for is Mama J.
Mm-hmm. Were you surprised by that at all?
I was a little bit that Katurah came up with that, and especially since she's done nothing but Bruce.
Yeah.
For so long, that did surprise me. It's like, whoa, that was her idea.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where that was. I wonder if we saw it in sort of the sequence of events, how it really did evolve.
Well, I think that it was in part because she likes Jake better. And she thought it would be... I think everybody thought Bruce would play that idol.
Yeah.
Right up until Emily didn't.
No reason to think otherwise. But yeah.
And I think she thought, okay, well, we can do that, and we can have Bruce play the idol, so we can actually get him out next time. But let's get out Mama J. Mm-hmm. This is a perfect opportunity, and it's one of the Reba Four, so they get numbers, which would have been perfect. I think they made a mistake myself, but.
We see Bruce and Emily talking, and Emily's telling him, hey, Mama J is not with you, which was a little bit of a surprise. I had a moment when she said that, because where was the part where we were supposed to think that Julie had been working with Bruce or that they had any kind of connection? That seemed out of the blue to me.
Well, but they said she was there for everyone. Mm-hmm. She mothered everyone all the time.
Yeah.
The whole season.
They just didn't lay the groundwork
they didn't.
For that.
They did. Whereas they had with Kelly, but they didn't with in this situation.
Yeah.
So, I was a little surprised about that, too.
And this is where we get, like, what you were talking about, where Emily is hoping that she can make Bruce so comfortable that he doesn't play his idol.
Well, and here's the thing, too. She knew what worked on Bruce. They knew telling him, wait till he finds out he's going to get back and find out that Kelly wasn't after him. Well, she was in a way, but not right then. And, so.
And we see the moment, like we were talking about before, that seems to really set Jake off and rock him. We see Bruce talking to Jake. Bruce's objective at this point is to tell Jake, hey, look, we're going to put our votes on Julie. They're going to split on me and you, but the four of us are going to come together, me, you, Katurah, and Emily, and we're going to put our votes on Julie.
It's just too much. He just doesn't know what's happening.
And he tells Jake that he lied, and that rocks Jake. Wait, what? So you do have your idol? Yes, I have my idol. And then Bruce is a little condescending to him because he says, this is Survivor, people lie. So Jake, I think that's what triggered him. That's what really set him off. So he goes to have his moment on the beach.
Well, Katurah talked to him for just a minute, but did she really do anything that comforted him in any way?
Yeah, I thought so.
He was
struggling. So we see him melting down out by himself. Yeah, who can I trust? And the subtitles tell us he's crying quietly, and he's struggling because he's always on the bottom, and he's always playing someone else's game. These are all fair characterizations.
Yeah.
This is a much better look at himself than the I've got friends who are helping me thing.
Well, I thought Bruce actually did a good job of talking him down, though. You're not dumb.
I don't know. Is that the right way to do it?
Well, it worked.
You're not a dummy.
But he's the one that was calling himself dumb. He goes, I feel so dumb. I mean, and so I'm sure Bruce was responding to that, And I really liked the explanation he gave to you're not dumb. You're just hitting the survivor wall. I hit it sooner than you did. Like, good job. You made it longer than I did. I already hit my survivor wall, and you just now hitting yours.
It didn't come across that way, though.
I kind of thought it did for Jake.
Maybe.
You lasted longer than me. You're not done. So I think it did pull him around.
If I was on the receiving end from how Bruce delivered that message, I wouldn't have thought it was sincere.
Yeah, but Jake was desperate, but pretty much anything would be a help, I think.
Bruce tells us that Jake is the key. You got to get 4 votes on Julie.
And I thought, all right, well, at least it's going to be a big move, because I had said they could go after Julie as Dee's closest ally.
Mm-hmm.
If Dee won, because in my mind she'd already won.
She was going to win.
Yeah. And so I got real confused then when Emily was like, oh, I'm okay with Julie going, but because I can't win against her is basically what she was saying. But she just couldn't handle the idea that Bruce may keep his idol another week. And she just couldn't have that idol come back again.
You're talking about Emily or Katurah?
Emily.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I said Emily. And I thought, okay, what is she going to do now? Is she really going to?
I didn't understand. I thought
think she would.
I guess I understood on the surface level when she said she wanted to make Bruce comfortable so he doesn't play the idol. But why in the world would he, and how could she make him feel comfortable? I just didn't see any evidence of her plan.
Well,
and she thought this is the big move. This is a big resume move for her.
Well, what I thought she was going to do was put her vote. She was going to tell them to vote for Julie, but she would put her vote as an extra vote on Bruce. Kind of like what Katurah was saying. I was lost at that point. I wasn't. I never dreamed.
I didn't understand how she thought this was a significant play.
Yeah,
It's interesting. Okay. All right. To Tribal Council. We got Kendra looking indignant as they come in.
Well, and they're always look who's got the idol, who's got the idol.
So Probst highlights it by asking, what's different here? Emily says, well, Bruce doesn't have the immunity necklace, so that's pretty much it.
Well, he's picking up that the energy's different.
Jake says, Jake agrees. Yes, there is different energy. People approach me more. I wasn't a pariah. And not knowing is tough, and I have imposter syndrome. Yes, Jake, everyone does.
And his
almost everyone.
Insecurity is just rampant.
Mm-hmm.
And, he told Jeff, well, I feel dumb. Like, everything's over my head and I'm out of the loop.
Yeah, I did
Jeff's like, that's Survivor.
Yeah, I like that. Withholding information's part of the game. He just broke it down real simple for him. Just easy peasy. This is how it works, Jake. Come on now.
Then, of course, Jeff points out to Julie, now they call you Mama J, right? That's great until it's not.
Do you think her explanation, her response had any impact on the jury? Because she acknowledged it. She owned it. She said, yeah, going with the mom role carries this extra.
But she only really... I thought she kind of left Kelly out of that myself. She said, oh, yeah, and did this, and especially Kendra, and I thought, no, I don't think Kendra's forgiving you anytime soon.
Neither one of them seemed to buy it. Yeah.
No. But I think actually her actually saying something about it and how hard it was for her, they're going to go back and have words about, oh, it's hard for you, is it? You're still in the game.
I think this was good, though. This is a good time for her to get ahead of it, and she did get ahead of it.
She did, but I'm not sure it was successful, though.
No.
She brought it up.
That kind of thing can work for you over time, though.
Maybe.
That's why getting out ahead of it like that. She's doing some PR
Kelly,
work.
Kendra, I'm thinking not. Nope.
Well, I think she's planting some seeds. We'll see if it grows to anything useful.
Yeah. I would be surprised, but Good on you.
Everybody's talking about how more complicated things are as there are fewer and fewer of them, and the focus shifts more and more to the jury. Bruce tells us, everybody's weighing their words, trying to think about what the impacts are going to be.
Way more complicated today.
Yep, Katurah agrees.
And Katurah's like, well, the jury keeps getting bigger and our group keeps getting smaller. Again, jury has no compassion for you for that.
Jake seemed to misreading the room there. He was an eager beaver,
Jake?
ready to act, and he said, let's punch someone. Okay, Jake, you're not there by your own work. You're there by omission.
Then Emily starts throwing this random stuff. Well, it's the final 8. It's time to make a big game move.
Right.
And this game changes tonight.
Yep. So she's pumping herself up there.
I was like, okay, so is Julie going in your but it could be interpreted by different people in different ways.
Didn't you have to wonder though when Probst hit Julie with the question, and Julie said, yes, I would be surprised if it's me. Based on everything I know, it's not me.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
I was.
And then they go around and
expecting it to be her.
Probst goes around and asks several of them, and you're expecting an idol to be played? Austin, yes. Julie, yes. Drew, yes. And Bruce is going to play it.
Well, here's the thing, and Emily figured that he is not going to play it. And she even told him basically that you should play it. The votes may not go the way you think they're gonna. So I thought that would make him think, but I think he just thought, oh, she's talking about Julie. I don't think it entered his mind that she was talking about him. And then he didn't play it. I was yelling at him.
Time to vote. We see Drew, when he makes his vote, say that third time's the charm, or third try is, I forget exactly what he said, but basically he was saying this was it. Jake's going to go.
Who said that?
Drew, when he went up to vote.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like you were just mentioning, when Probst calls for idols or advantages, Bruce held. He did not. So you got exactly what you deserved at this point, Bruce.
Well, that's how I felt. Okay, well, that was a dumb move, in my opinion. You should have played it. And I thought it would have been a very bold move, as you say, if it had worked. But I thought, dude, they're done. They're coming after you. This is the time. Don't you feel that? But like he said, they made me feel safe. They did a good job.
Yeah, he said they. He didn't say Emily. He said they.
Yeah.
So
Katurah, Jake, Emily.
Yeah.
But I was a little surprised when I saw Julie also voted for Bruce. I was like, oh, okay. She was part of the group that was voting for him.
So Bruce finally goes, and Katurah is ecstatic. She says, good game, old man. And she hits him with a classic "love you" on the way out.
Yeah, that was very insincere.
Well, she did the same thing to Kendra. Kendra wasn't having it at all. Yeah, Katurah is not doing good jury management. She should know better as a lawyer.
I don't know. I'm afraid I would have been tempted to flip her off, which would have been bad sportsmanship. But I might have done it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
You see Drew say Christmas came early and everybody's celebrating.
My thought for Katurah was, what are you thinking? You are now still in the bottom.
I think we're buying into the edit. There's something that we're not seeing because it looks like people are constantly not acting in their own best interest.
Well,
so
I feel like Jake now. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, having our moment. And I wanted Emily to do something big. I don't see this as big as she seems to perceive it is.
I mean, am I glad that, okay, they finally got Bruce and they've all wanted Bruce. Bruce. Okay, fine. Bruce over.
You did the
out.
easy thing. You got Bruce out. Hoorah.
And how hard would that be? What a shield he was. Now,
what's your path to the end
getting rid
now?
Of the idol. Yes, I was on board 100% for that.
Flush it, yeah.
But, and I guess they're like, well, but we'll get rid of the idol if he plays it. But if he doesn't, he's out of here. But the whole Julie thing was swept under the table, so either way. So it went right back to it was Jake or Bruce.
Yeah.
So that whole, what I thought was Emily's big move and big plan fizzled and Katurah's. Katurah's the one that brought it up. So I guess really it's Katurah's move.
Yeah, I don't understand why Emily was taking all the credit for that, and she thinks
Yeah.
it's a big feather in her cap. I think even Jake and Katurah are bust her chops on that if she
Maybe
tries
that's
to pull
why
that
she
out at some
didn't
point.
want to do it, is it would be Katurah's move, not hers.
No, Emily seemed all in on this. This was her deal. She wanted him to not play
No, I'm
it.
talking about the Julie vote.
Oh, okay.
She didn't want to do the Julie vote because that would have been Katurah's move. But if she turned it back around and she's the one
Gotcha.
who finally successfully got Bruce, even the jury was happy. Kendra was over there. Yes, got Bruce.
There's
But
a
I
lot of
thought-
other votes for Bruce, so
Yeah, but
I'm
he's-
still scratching my head wondering how she gets all the credit for this.
But Kendra, Bruce is coming to you, honey. So,
Well, what
that'll
did you
be
think?
fine.
Like I said, I had this idea that it was going to be more than it was, so I kind of messed myself up on the episode.
I think we totally did a number on ourselves. We were just like, yeah, and this, and well, I think this one and that one, and they're gonna do it.
Take
and they're
control
gonna
of the
make this
game.
big move, and they're gonna take control of the game. And I don't know how to work. My feeling after that was Emily's not gonna stay with them, but for her to, I thought she would take. Either maybe start with Drew, but I also thought she could go with Julie. That's why I almost put Julie. I was struggling between which one to go with, and that was because
You're talking about for a vote out? I'm not tracking what you're saying.
Yes, for a vote out.
Okay.
Is that I thought it would be a huge advantage to Emily, who was unsure of the loyalty that Drew and Austin have for her over Julie and Dee, that she would want to get at least one of them out
Yeah, but wouldn't you
to
want D
secure
out?
her more. Well, yeah, but
More
in
than
my
Julie?
mind, Dee solidly had the immunity idol around
Gotcha.
her neck.
Big toe energy for the win. Therefore, yeah.
Yes, so that's why for me it was between. I thought, oh, they're not going after Austin, and besides, he's got 2 immunity idols, and I thought now he could, and he definitely would probably play it for D.
I don't see what Emily's play is yet. I don't see
where's she
what
going from
Katurah
here?
is
I
thinking. Either we're missing some stuff in the edit.
Yeah, Katurah
We got
and Jake are still on the bottom.
Well, Jake's lost, but Katurah is completely unclear, and maybe she's got other things that she's dealing with. Anyway.
I don't see what opens for her, though.
Yeah, I don't see the path forward for Katurah.
Yes, Bruce is gone, but you actually kind of needed...
Bruce is gone, yeah.
You needed him. You're
Yeah.
still, in the lower
Would have been more
percentage
impressive.
of the...
Would have been more impressive if you had worked with him to get
Yes.
you and him into a better position.
Exactly.
And then
you
beat
could
him.
take him out later.
Yeah. Or even go head to head against him
whatever.
in final tribal. It's
Though maybe they're seeing something we're not. Maybe the Reba 4 aren't as tight as we all believe they are. Well, and that leads us to next on Survivor.
okay. We see Austin and Dee.
Alone on the beach at night.
Austin asks, "What are you thinking about?" Dee's thinking about each other. Hugs.
Well, I think he's something about what are you thinking about most, and she's like this kind of thing.
So
Anyway,
definitely some showmance going there.
definitely, they're showing us more and more.
Drew's talking to Austin, and he says, "I want to go after Julie next." Why? You're down to 7. You have a tight 4. You've got a lock. Why do you rock the boat
Well,
right
before
there?
that, Austin had said, at this point, every move we make is going to hurt a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I wondered if
It's a
he
throwaway.
wasn't thinking about. I didn't know that it was, because he could have been thinking about the girls
Possibly. Yeah.
or Drew, or what do you mean by that?
So Drew seems to have gone off his rocker from my perspective on how you should handle the final 7 when you've got an alliance of 4. You've got all the control.
Yeah,
But
and there's
he's
3
willing to-
3 other people. Unless he thinks Emily is so with him that Julie's not necessary. They've got Emily.
He's bought into
And
the
Emily's
Julie's
loyal.
a threat. Is what appears to be the
he
case.
totally drank the Kool-Aid.
And
That's what I've been saying all week. I drank the Kool-Aid. They were in the commercials.
We see Dee talking to Julie, and was it she saying, "No, don't do that"? And Dee saying, "Literally, my world is in Julie's hands." What do you think's going on there?
I don't know. I was confused by that. Well, I guess maybe her world being... she feels like she has to vote with Julie for some reason.
I mean, that's no different. They've been doing that all along.
Well, they have. But at some point, what if Julie says, let's get rid of Austin and let's get rid of him and his idols?
Then we cut to Julie, and she's saying, "I'm going rogue, people. This could save me or destroy me."
And Emily is sitting there when she says that.
Mm-hmm.
So who are they targeting?
I don't know. Sounds like Julie feels threatened, so
Well,
she's
maybe
responding
she and
to
Drew
some
are
threat.
coming after each other.
Mm-hmm.
Drew's coming after me, and I'm coming after him. Because maybe Austin told Dee, and Dee told Julie, and so...
So maybe that's the path forward for Jake and Katurah. If they can get them going after each other and help stoke that fire, then maybe there is a path for them. It wouldn't...
But do they have any resume?
Given how... Well, it doesn't matter if you get rid of them. That'll be your resume. Look, that Type 4 had control of the game, and we got rid of them.
Well... But not if they turn on each other if they got rid of each other.
Yeah, it won't stop them from taking credit for it. You can
true.
see that with Jake already.
I'm not sure the jury would buy it so much. But
Nope.
So I don't even know what's going to happen. So I guess probably my votes for next week will be about as good as this week.
I think they're going to vote out
3-point
Jake.
week. You think? Yeah. And
Let's
I
go with
almost
Jake.
put him too, this week. I thought, but he's the easy vote.
Yes, it has been for quite a while.
And of course I had Bruce safe because he had an idol. And of course he's going to play it if he doesn't win immunity.
Knucklehead.
That was just easy peasy. Mm-hmm. And besides...
See, he cracked his head in the previous season, and it had a knock-on effect here in 45.
Well, and the thing is if you play in JSFL, there are 3 more times you've got to pick people safe, and I had already used Drew 4 times already.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it would be really good if he left now because I'm running it, and I think I've used
You're running
Jake,
out of safes.
Or
You only get 6 for
I
each
think I've used
castaway.
Jake 5 already, so it's like I'm
Go already.
limited.
Yes.
Yeah. So some of my safes were based on that. I had to change.
Speaking of JSFL, how about an update?
I can do that. That I'm not confused about. Okay, there were 11 USBs lost. Hatter is still in first with 52 points. 189 people,
Joanne included.
lost a safe point along with me, yes. And 25 people earned a vote out point.
I
Good
can
for
see
you.
that. Yep.
And in the side challengers with 47 points, Randy and Rebecca, 46 Jeremiah, 44 Robert, 43 Stacy.
43, sorry.
I am giving the report.
Yep.
Don't comment on your score. So, with 42, Drew and Lisa Ray, with 40, Parker, and with 38, Justin.
Aha. All right. Getting quite the spread there in the side challenge.
Yep.
Almost a 10-point range now, bottom to top.
Oh, yeah. Well, you actually, since I had a 3-point week and you had a 4-point week, we are now tied in our score.
Oh, I'm not tracking
You
that.
caught me. Of course, because I'm no threat. I know you always beat me in the end.
That's not true.
I know, but you always say that.
No, I don't. I don't usually keep track of it. That's you. Mm-hmm. Well, we're anxious to hear what you thought about this episode. How's it playing out? How do you see it? Did Emily make a big move? Is there a path ahead for Jake and Katurah after all? And are the original Reba 4 really going to give up control at Final 7? Where it's the easiest it was ever going to get. Are they going to do that? Or those red herrings in Next Time on Survivor?
My mind is still...
These questions aren't actually for
I
you
know,
to answer right
and I'm
now.
not answering one of those questions. I'm making an independent statement. is that I still feel for the overall episode, I do feel a little like Jake. I feel very confused about why people are doing certain things. I don't understand it. It doesn't seem logical to me.
I can work with that. For the listener feedback show, are you confused? Do you see the logic? Is it clear? We'd love to have you share your perspective on it. The voicemail line's 206-350-1547, toll free, 844-643-8737. The email's Joanne and Stacy Show. You can record your own audio, be in a quiet place, hit record, be still. Don't tap the desk where the phone or the recorder is while you're recording.
Somebody do that in your ear last week.
It's challenging to delete those. So,
okay.
Yeah, just find a nice quiet place either when you call or when you're recording on your own, and don't touch your phone, and then record it and send it in to Joanne and Stacy Show at gmail.com. Feedback's due noon Pacific time on Saturdays. We ask that you keep it in that 3-minute range. That doesn't mean you have to have 3 minutes to call or reach out. Look, you may just have something quick that you want to say, and you shoot us a note or give us a call, and
That's okay, too.
Yeah, we look forward to all that. We don't know you're there unless you let us know that you're there. That's kind of how the podcasting game works.
Yep. I need to feed this boy.
So, what?
I need to feed you.
Okay. Where's that coming from? It's just totally left field.
Because I can feel that you're hungry.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up there. We got some basic questions, some starter questions. I already threw a few out there. Joanne helped kind of with another one. So how did your assessment of the castaways change after this week's gameplay? Who impressed you the most? Who do you think's playing the best? And who's in jeopardy of being voted out next? Question we always are anxious to hear the answer to for the Fantasy League. Anything else you'd like to add?
Nope. Still confused.
Still confused. That's it. We look forward to hearing from you. Have a good one.